Welcome to Cherry Blossom BL Story, where emotions bloom and stories unfold. Sit back, relax, and enjoy today's chapter.
In a city that eats the soft ones first, a boy arrived carrying poetry instead of a weapon. He knocked twice. The man who opened the door had blood under his nails and eyes that said, "Mine." What happens when the monster decides the lamb is worth keeping? This is their story, and it starts now. Chapter 13, Possessive Fire. The afternoon sun slanted through the blinds in harsh gold bars, turning the loft into a cage of light and shadow. Elias sat cross-legged on the couch, phone balanced on one knee, thumbs moving slowly over the screen. He was replying to Theo's latest message, something casual about grabbing coffee after the next lit seminar, maybe studying together again. Elias hesitated over the send button, biting the inside of his cheek. He hadn't seen Theo since the night at the mixer, hadn't wanted to. But the invitation felt harmless, polite, normal. He hit send before he could overthink it. From the kitchen, Kai's head lifted. He'd been cleaning the Beretta on the counter, methodical, quiet. When the soft chime of Elias's phone cut through the stillness, Kai didn't move at first. Just listened as Elias typed, as the message whooshed away, as the boy let out a small, relieved breath. Kai set the slide down with deliberate care. Who was that? His voice came out low, neutral, too neutral. Elias glanced up startled, then sheepish. Theo. He just asked if I wanted to get coffee sometime this week. For notes, nothing big. Kai's jaw ticked once. He wiped his hands on a rag, slow and thorough, then stood. The movement was casual until it wasn't. He crossed to the window, looked down at the street where his black motorcycle sat parked like a sleeping predator. Elias watched him, uncertain. "You're not going," Kai said, flat, final. Elias blinked. "What? You heard me." The phone buzzed again, Theo's reply, "Probably." Elias didn't look at it. He set the device face down on the cushion and unfolded his legs, standing slowly. His oversized sweater slipped off one narrow shoulder. He tugged it back absently. "That's not your decision," Elias said quietly. His voice trembled at the edges, but there was steel underneath. "I can have friends, Kai. I'm not your prisoner." Kai turned then, slow, deliberate. His eyes were dark, pupils blown wide with something hotter than anger. "You think Theo wants to be your friend?" He stepped closer. "Do you think he looks at you the way I do and just wants to study Yeats?" Elias's cheeks flushed pink. Embarrassment, frustration, a flicker of something else. "He's kind. He doesn't," he stopped himself. "He doesn't scare me." The words landed like a slap. Kai's expression didn't change, but the air between them thickened. Without another word, he walked past Elias close enough that the heat of his body brushed the boy's slim frame, and out the front door. It shut with a controlled click. Elias stood frozen for half a heartbeat, then he followed. Down the stairwell, bare feet slapping cold concrete, heart hammering. He pushed through the heavy metal door just in time to see Kai swing a leg over the motorcycle. The engine caught with a guttural roar, loud, deliberate, vicious. Kai revved it once, twice hard enough that the sound bounced off the brick walls of the alley like gunfire. Theo was already there. He'd been waiting on the sidewalk, backpack slung over one shoulder, easy smile faltering as the bike snarled to life. The noise hit him like a physical shove. He took an involuntary step back, eyes wide. Kai didn't look at him. He just stared straight ahead, throttle twisted, letting the engine scream its warning. Theo's gaze flicked to Elias standing barefoot in the doorway, sweater slipping again, face flushed and stricken. Theo opened his mouth, maybe to say something, maybe to ask if Elias was okay. Kai revved the bike again louder. Theo flinched, raised both hands in surrender, backing up another step. "Okay, man," message received. He glanced at Elias one last time, regretful, confused, then turned and walked quickly away, disappearing around the corner. The engine cut off. Silence rang louder than the noise had. Elias stepped forward, small fists clenched at his sides, nails biting into palms. What the hell was that? Kai dismounted slowly. He didn't answer right away, just stalked toward Elias until the boy had to tip his head back to meet his eyes. "You don't get it," Kai said, voice rough. "He's not safe for you, none of them are. You don't get to decide who I talk to." Elias's voice cracked. "Hi, furious. You can't just scare people away because you're jealous." Kai moved faster than Elias could react. One large hand shot out, fingers wrapping around Elias's narrow waist, spanning it completely, thumb and fingers overlapping with room to spare. He lifted the boy effortlessly, spun him, and pinned him back against the kitchen counter just inside the door. Elias's bare feet left the floor for a second. He gasped as his back hit the edge, small hands flying up to brace against Kai's chest. Kai loomed over him, close enough that Elias felt every harsh exhale against his face. "Yeah," Kai growled, "I'm fucking jealous. You smile at him like that, like you used to smile at me, and it makes me want to break something," starting with his face. Elias's breath hitched, his cheeks burned crimson, hazel eyes shimmered with anger and something hotter, more confused. "You don't own me." Kai's other hand came up, cupped the side of Elias's face, thumb dragging roughly across the flushed curve of his cheekbone. "Don't I?" Elias opened his mouth to argue, to deny, but the words died when Kai kissed him, hard, possessive, claiming. Teeth grazed Elias's lower lip, tongue pushed inside without asking, tasting the faint salt of shock and unshed tears. Elias made a small, broken sound, half protest, half surrender, and his small fists unclenched, fingers curling into Kai's shirt instead. He arched instinctively, narrow hips pressing forward, seeking contact even as his mind screamed to push away. Kai's hand on his waist tightened, fingers digging in just enough to bruise, just enough to remind Elias how easily he could be held, moved, taken. The other slid to the nape of Elias's neck, tilting his head back further, deepening the kiss until Elias whimpered into his mouth, soft, needy, helpless. When Kai finally pulled back, only far enough to speak, both were breathing ragged. "Say it again," Kai rasped against Elias's swollen lips. "I say I don't own you." Elias's eyes fluttered open, glassy, dazed. His small chest rose and fell fast, lips trembled. You don't." The denial came out weak, fractured. Kai kissed him again, slower this time, punishing in its tenderness. When he broke away, Elias chased the contact, small, desperate, before catching himself. Kai's thumb traced the boy's bottom lip, smearing the wetness there. "Liar," he murmured. Elias didn't argue. He just leaned forward, forehead dropping to Kai's shoulder, small frame trembling in the circle of possessive arms. Kai held him tighter. Outside, the city kept moving, cars, voices, threats waiting in the shadows. Inside, the only thing that mattered was the fragile boy pinned between counter and dangerous man, flushed, kiss straw, still refusing to run, and the man who would burn anyone who tried to take him. Chapter 14. Gentle routines. The loft had begun to carry new rhythms, quiet ones, almost domestic, carved out between the sharp edges of Kai's world. Mornings were for coffee and silence. Elias woke first most days, slipping from the tangled sheets to pad barefoot to the kitchen. He moved like he was afraid of waking ghosts, small hands measuring grounds with careful scoops, pouring water slowly so the kettle didn't hiss too loudly. Kai would appear eventually, hair asleep, must, bandage still taped over the healing gash, leaning in the doorway to watch. He never said good morning. He just crossed the room, wrapped one arm around Elias's narrow waist from behind, and pressed his mouth to the fragile curve where neck met shoulder. Elias would lean back into him, small sigh escaping, and they'd stand like that until the coffee finished brewing. Afternoons belonged to the empty warehouse space Kai rented 2 blocks away. No one else knew about it. Just concrete floors, rusted support beams, and a single hanging bulb that cast long shadows. Kai brought Elias there 3 times a week, never announced it ahead of time, just took his hand one day and said, "Come on." Self-defense lessons started simple. Kai taught him how to break a wrist grip first. He wrapped his fingers loosely around Elias's slender forearm, always careful, demonstrating the twist stand. Pull motion without ever applying real pressure. Elias's skin felt paper, thin under his palm. The bones beneath seemed too small to withstand anything more than the gentlest hold. Like this, Kai murmured, guiding Elias's free hand to the weak point of his own grip. Leverage, not strength. You're never gonna out-muscle anyone. Don't try. Elias tried, small jaw set, hazel eyes narrowed in concentration. His movements were hesitant at first, then sharper as muscle memory settled in. When he finally managed to slip free, Kai's mouth curved. Just a flicker of pride. Good, he said, voice low again. They practiced escapes, blocks, how to drop weight and use momentum. Kai never once let his full strength show. When he caught Elias's wrists to demonstrate a pin, his fingers encircled them completely, but held with the same care he'd use on fine glass. No bruises, never bruises. Afterward, they sat on an old shipping crate, breathing hard. Elias's cheeks would be flushed, dark hair sticking to his temples. Kai would reach out, slow trace the scattering of freckles across Elias's pale shoulders with the pad of one thumb. Lazy circles, unhurried. Elias shivered every time, small frame arching instinctively toward the touch. You've got constellations here, Kai said once, voice rough with something softer than usual, and never noticed before. Elias ducked his head, cheeks burning. They're just freckles. They're mine now, Kai answered simply. Evenings brought the shower. The bathroom was cramped, tiled in cracked white, steam that never quite cleared, but it became theirs. Elias stepped under the spray first, letting hot water sluice over narrow shoulders, down the delicate line of his spine. Kai followed, crowding him against the wall without crowding him. Large hands gentle as they smoothed soap across Elias's slim back, thumbs pressing lightly into tense muscles. Water beaded on Elias's lashes, droplets traced freckles, slid along collarbones, gathered in the shallow dip above his hip bones. Kai watched it all, dark eyes burning, then leaned in to kiss the wet skin of Elias's throat, tasting soap and clean warmth. Elias tilted his head back, small hands rising to fist in Kai's wet hair. A soft gasp escaped when Kai's palm flattened over his stomach, fingers splaying wide enough to span almost the entire narrow waist. Tease, Elias whispered, voice trembling with laughter and want. Kai's mouth curved against his pulse, in not teasing, worshipping. He turned Elias slowly, back to chest, let the water pound against them both while his hands roamed. Gentle sweeps over ribs, thumbs brushing sensitive nipples until Elias arched and whimpered, slender thighs pressing together. No rush, no demand, just slow, deliberate touches that left Elias shaking, flushed from more than the heat. Nights ended on the fire escape. After the city quieted, or as quiet as it ever got, Kai would lead Elias out the narrow window onto the rusted metal platform. They sat shoulder to shoulder, Elias's fragile frame tucked into Kai's side, one of Kai's arms draped around narrow shoulders like a shield. The skyline glittered below, neon veins pulsing through concrete, and the air smelled of diesel and distant rain. Elias would rest his head on Kai's chest, listening to the steady thud beneath ink and scars. Kai's free hand would find Elias's, long fingers lacing through small ones, thumb stroking the delicate web between thumb and forefinger. Sometimes they didn't speak at all. Sometimes Elias murmured poetry fragments, half-remembered lines about stars and longing, voice soft against the night. Kai listened without interrupting, chin resting on the top of Elias's dark head. Once, under a smear of city lights that almost looked like stars, Elias tilted his face up. Kai met him halfway. The kiss was slow, unhurried, deep, tasting of coffee and smoke and something sweeter underneath. Elias's small hands rose to cup Kai's jaw. Kai's arm tightened around him, pulling the fragile body closer until there was no space left between them. When they parted, Elias's lips were swollen, eyes glassy in the low light. Stay like this, he whispered, always. Kai didn't answer with words, he just kissed him again, gentler this time, and held him tighter against the cold metal railing. The city kept moving below them, threats waiting in alleys, blood waiting to be spilled, but on that fire escape, wrapped in each other under sodium glow and distant thunder, the world felt smaller, safer, theirs. Chapter 15 Shattered Safety. It happened on a Tuesday Elias thought would be ordinary. He'd walked the usual route from campus to the bus stop, headphones in, backpack hugged to his narrow chest, dark hair falling forward to curtain his face from the late afternoon crowd. The street was busy enough that he didn't notice the black van idling at the curb until the side door slid open and two men moved at once. One clamped a gloved hand over his mouth, the other hooked an arm around his slim waist and lifted him clean off the ground. Elias's small body jerked, muffled cry lost against leather, legs kicking uselessly in thin air. His backpack slipped from his shoulder and hit the pavement with a dull thud. Someone kicked it into the gutter. The van door slammed shut. Inside it was dark, taped windows, chemical stink of old carpet and motor oil. Elias was shoved face down onto the floor, zip ties bit into his delicate wrists, tight enough to make him gasp. He tried to curl smaller, knees to chest, shoulders hunched, but rough hands yanked him upright and zip tied his ankles too. "Don't scream," one of them said, voice flat, "No one's coming yet." Elias's breathing came in shallow, panicked bursts. His large hazel eyes darted wildly in the dimness, pupils blown black with terror. Tears welled instantly, spilling silent and fast down flushed cheeks. His slender frame shook so violently the zip ties rattled against his bones. He didn't speak, couldn't. Just trembled, small, fragile thing trapped between two men who smelled like cigarettes and gun grease. They drove for what felt like hours. When the van finally stopped, Elias was dragged out into a derelict warehouse, concrete cold under his sneakers, air thick with dust and rust. They shoved him into a metal chair, more zip ties around his narrow chest and the backrest, pinning his arms uselessly at his sides. A single bulb swung overhead, throwing harsh shadows across his pale face. One of the men crouched in front of him, knife in hand, blade catching the light. "Tell your boyfriend we want the South Docks back," he said. "He's got 48 hours or we start sending pieces." Elias's lower lip quivered. A soft, broken sound escaped, half sob, half whimper. He pressed his knees together, trying to make himself smaller, trying to disappear into the chair. They left him there, alone in the cold, trembling, tears tracking endlessly down his cheeks. Every creak of the building made him flinch. Every distant sound made his heart slam harder against fragile ribs. He whispered Kai's name once, barely audible, cracked, like a prayer no one would hear. Then the door exploded inward. Splinters flew, metal screamed. Kai came through like violence given form, black jacket, pistol already raised, face blank with the kind of cold fury that promised no survivors. The first man didn't even get his gun up. Kai put 2 rounds through his chest before the body hit the floor. The second tried to run. Kai caught him by the collar, slammed him face first into concrete, and drove a knee into his spine until something cracked. The man screamed once, high and wet, then went silent when Kai's boot came down on his throat. Elias watched it all, wide hazel eyes huge, unblinking. Tears still streaming, slender body rigid against the chair, trembling so hard the metal legs rattled against the floor. Kai crossed the room in 3 strides. He dropped to one knee in front of Elias, blood on his knuckles, breath coming hard through flared nostrils. His large hands moved to the zip ties, careful now, almost gentle, snapping them with a small blade pulled from his boot. Elias's wrists were raw, red rings already forming where plastic had bitten deep. Kai's thumbs brushed over the marks once, soft, instinctive. Then he freed the boy's chest, his ankles. Elias didn't move. He just stared at the bodies, at the blood pooling dark on concrete, at Kai's hands still flecked with red. Kai reached for him. Elias flinched hard, violent small body jerking back so sharply the chair scraped backward an inch. Kai froze. "Elias," he said, low, rough, almost pleading. Elias's breath hitched, fresh tears spilled. He shook his head, small, frantic jerks, then curled inward on himself, knees drawn tight to chest, arms wrapping around slim legs, face buried against them. His whole frame quaked silent, wrenching sobs muffled into the fabric of his jeans. Kai stayed kneeling, didn't touch him. Just watched, dark eyes burning with something raw and helpless, as the fragile boy he'd sworn to protect shrank away from him like he was the monster. Minutes passed. The warehouse was quiet except for Elias's soft, shattered breathing. Finally, Elias lifted his head, just enough. His face was blotchy, eyes swollen and red, rimmed, lashes clumped with tears. You killed them," he whispered. The words cracked like thin ice, right in front of me. Kai's jaw clenched. "They took you, they hurt you. I know." Elias's voice was barely audible. "But I saw everything." He looked down at his own wrists, red, bruised, trembling, then back at Kai's bloodied hands. "I'm scared of you now," Elias admitted, small, broken, "and I hate that I am." Kai exhaled, slow, ragged, like the words had punched through ribs. He didn't reach again. Just stayed there, kneeling in blood and dust, watching Elias curl tighter into himself, fragile and shaken and so far away even though he was only inches apart. Eventually Kai stood. He pulled off his jacket, careful not to let blood touch Elias, and draped it over narrow shoulders. The leather swallowed the boy completely, hanging past his hips like a shield. "I'm getting you out of here," Kai said quietly. Then, "Whatever you need, space, time, whatever." Elias didn't answer. He just let Kai lift him, slow, careful, small body limp and trembling in strong arms. Elias tucked his face against Kai's throat, not clinging, not pulling away either, just existing there. Fragile weight, shallow breaths, silent tears soaking into skin. Kai carried him through the wreckage, past bodies that would never move again, into the night. The city lights blurred past the van windows on the drive back, cold, indifferent. Elias stayed curled against the passenger door, small, silent, arms wrapped tight around himself under Kai's too big jacket. He didn't speak, Kai didn't push. The safety they'd built, slow, tentative, fragile, had shattered in one brutal afternoon, and neither of them knew yet if the pieces could be fit back together. Chapter 16. Rain. Confession. Rain came down in cold, relentless sheets, turning the rooftop into a black mirror that reflected the city's smeared neon. Kai found the door to the roof ajar, metal frame still warm from someone small slipping through. He stepped out barefoot, shirtless despite the chill, the bandage on his side already soaked dark. Water plastered his hair to his skull in seconds. He didn't feel it. All he felt was the hollow ache that had lived in his chest since Elias flinched away from him in that warehouse. Elias was there, curled against the low parapet, knees drawn tight to his chest, arms wrapped around slim legs. The oversized sweater he'd worn for days hung sodden and heavy, clinging to narrow shoulders and the fragile line of his spine. Dark hair stuck to his pale face in wet strands. Rain traced rivulets down flushed cheeks, mingling with tears he no longer tried to hide. He looked impossibly small against the vast, indifferent night, like something the storm could wash away if it tried hard enough. Kai crossed the roof in silence, boots forgotten inside. Rain hammered his shoulders, ran in cold streams down ink and scars. Elias didn't look up until Kai dropped to one knee in front of him. Close enough that their knees almost touched, far enough that Elias could still run if he wanted. He didn't run. Kai's voice came out rough, scraped raw. "You're gonna freeze out here." Elias lifted his head slowly. Large hazel eyes were red, rimmed, swollen, glistening under streetlight and rain. "I needed air," he whispered. The loft felt too small, too full of everything I saw. Kai nodded once, slow, accepting. He didn't reach, just stayed there, letting the rain pound between them. Silence stretched, broken only by the hiss of water on concrete and the distant growl of the city below. Then Elias spoke again. voice trembling, barely carrying over the storm. I keep seeing it, he said, the blood, the way their eyes went empty, the way you didn't even blink. Fresh tears slipped free, he didn't wipe them away. I was so scared, not just of them, of you, of what you are when the mask drops. Kai's throat worked, I know. Elias's small hand lifted hesitant, then settled against Kai's cheek. Fragile fingers trembled against wet stubble. Thumb brushed the scar through his eyebrow like he was memorizing it all over again. But I also see the man who taught me how to break a grip without bruising me, Elias continued, voice cracking. The man who held me through storms and kissed my freckles like they were stars. The man who carried me out of that place even when I pulled away. He swallowed hard. You're both. The monster and the man, and I love both. The words landed soft, devastating. Kai exhaled sharp, ragged, like he'd been holding his breath for days. Elias, I love you, Elias repeated, stronger this time, though his whole body shook. I love the parts that terrify me. I love the parts that keep me safe, and I hate that loving you means living with blood on the floor sometimes, but I can't stop. Kai closed his eyes for one heartbeat. When they opened again, they were burning. Dark, raw, unguarded. He moved then, slow enough that Elias could pull back. Elias didn't. Kai gathered him close, large hands sliding under sodden sweater to span narrow waist, lifting the fragile boy effortlessly until Elias straddled his lap, knees bracketing strong thighs. Rain poured over them both. Elias's wet hair fell forward, curtaining their faces from the world. Kai cradled him protective, reverent, one arm locked around slim back, the other cupping the nape of Elias's neck. Their foreheads touched, breath mingled in wet, trembling gasps. You're my only light, Kai rasped against Elias's lips. Everything else is shadows. You walked into my fucking life with your books and your soft voice, and you lit up every dark corner I thought was dead. I'd kill 1,000 more to keep that light burning. But if you ever need to leave, if this gets too heavy, I'll let you go. I'll hate every second, but I'll let you. Elias shook his head small, frantic. I'm not leaving. Then he kissed Kai, desperate, claiming, tasting rain and salt and fear and love all at once. Kai groaned into his mouth, low wrecked, and kissed back harder. Teeth grazed, tongue slid, hands roamed with urgent tenderness. Kai's fingers dug into Elias's narrow hips, spanning them easily, holding him flush while Elias arched, small whimpers lost in the storm. Rain soaked through clothes, turned fabric translucent, but neither cared. Kai shifted them, laying Elias back against the wet concrete, careful to brace his own weight on forearms so the boy wouldn't feel the cold too harshly. He covered him completely, broad shoulders blocking the worst of the downpour, then kissed down the fragile column of throat, over collarbones, tasting rainwater and skin. Elias's small hands fisted in Kai's hair, tugging, guiding, trembling. Legs wrapped loosely around Kai's waist, heels dug into the small of his back. Elias gasped, voice breaking on the name. Kai lifted his head, eyes locked on Elias's, then kissed him again, slower, deeper, like he was sealing something unbreakable. I've got you, he murmured against swollen lips, always. Elias nodded, tears mixing with rain, and pulled him closer. They stayed like that, tangled, desperate, claiming, under the storm's indifferent fury. Kai held the delicate boy protectively against his chest, arms like iron, heart slamming hard enough for both of them to feel. The rain kept falling, the city kept breathing below, but on that rooftop, wet, trembling, alive, they found something stronger than fear, something worth bleeding for, something worth coming home to.
That's all for today on Cherry Blossom BL Story. Thank you for watching. What do you think about this chapter? Did you like it, or do you think something unexpected is coming? Comment your thoughts below, and subscribe for more stories.